Oh my goodness. We are going to hope and get a thumbs up that we are actually live. I mean, I see the little live button and I'm getting a couple of lovely things here, I think, showing, but let us check. I'm going to check over here. Hi, welcome back, everyone, to episode 7 of Witch Please. I am super excited today, and I would imagine not only am I excited, but my assistant is here with me in the background, and she's probably going to be incredibly excited about today because I think she has mentioned this particular topic every week when asking about topics for like the last 4 or 5 weeks. And so we are talking today about the paranormal. Oh my God. Are you excited about that? I hope so. I hope so. I just got off recording. I was a guest on another podcast. And so when I sat here, I'd contemplated talking about it, even when I woke up and was kind of thinking about today's topic and what it was going to be. But after I stepped out of that, I just knew I wanted to continue going because these really interesting thoughts were hitting me as I was talking and sharing with these folks on their podcast. And so we're going to start off as usual. I think I've done this almost when I start talking about a topic. I think I've done this on a couple of the other episodes. We're going to talk about some definitions, like literally. I was like, I know what paranormal is, but let's level set, right? Let's level set here. What really is the definition of paranormal? So I looked it up. And the definition was events or phenomena such as telekinesis or clairvoyance that is beyond the scope of normal scientific understanding. So paranormal it describes things that are beyond scientific understanding, right? Which I think it's like kind of amusing too, because that's a bit of like spirituality and metaphysics and like all kind of in the same definition, right? And as I read that definition, I went, what's the definition of phenomena? What do they mean by phenomena? So a phenomena is a fact or a situation that is observed to exist, especially whose cause or explanation is in question, right? And so like paranormal is really, there's no true, real, concrete reason why. And that's even why like paranormal investigators, a lot of what they talk and discuss and share is, theory, because you've had enough folks that have kind of agreed upon these theories around energy and the pulling energies and, residual energy and intelligent energy and those kinds of things. So you've got the people that kind of believe, but like it's not the science. And that's why these paranormal investigators are always trying to kind of go out and they hypothesize that this place is haunted. That's a hypothesis. And then scientific methods said you hypothesize and then you try to prove or disprove it. And so they will find evidence, this phenomena, right, that can't be explained any other reason. That's why they try to debunk things. And so I had this really kind of interesting, and my lovely dear box might not be the exact thought of paranormal that you were expecting, but we could talk about this for the whole next month because we are in this time of the year. Let's be real, friends. We are in. This is being recorded right now. It's just fall just hit. We're just one day post Maybon, so we could be talking about this every week if we wanted. Who knows? Maybe I'll be called to do that. But I had this interesting kind of thought in my head pop up that, to be a witch, you're kind of like embracing the paranormal. Like we almost are ourselves kind of like paranormal in some regards, right? Like a witch, and what we kind of practice and the things that we do and the experiences that we have. And a lot of like, even what I teach and mentor, right? There are 3 areas, right? And not a single one of them has like scientific, can be easily understood, right? Psychic abilities. They've tried, right? There's definitely been studies and research and everything that's done, but there's no like concrete reason why, right? So that's a phenomenon that's, paranormal. Magic, Like, I literally believe magic is kind of like science that you can't prove. That's kind of like so it's just paranormal. It's a paranormal phenomena. And healing, right? Energy healing. Is that not just, paranormal? So like, I was just thinking about this. So like psychic abilities. We'll give you some more examples about this. If people have premonitions, that's a paranormal. Based upon the definitions that we talked about, a premonition, right? Insight, future insight, whether it's a dream, a predictive dream, right? Like premonitions phenomena. Like, how you can't really get much more paranormal than talking to the dead. I mean, paranormal investigators literally try to just see, experience, or witness the dead. And they know that they can, I love me a spirit box. I forget what some of the other things are called. But they have some ways to be able to communicate and talk, but they can't have just a regular old conversation, right? They're not just like going back and forth. Oh, how was your day? Oh, great, amazing. Like, oh, tell me about that. Elaborate more. They can't just like lean in. I guess maybe they could, but us humans don't get the same response from the dead. So as a psychic, God, we're like the most phenomenal, helpers, I would say, from a, witches, from a paranormal investigation perspective. The other thing too that kind of hit me, which falls into the paranormal, as far as a witch goes, is the ability to like see an illness, right? And I think depending on it, if you talk to a witch, they might use different psychic abilities, but like for me, example, I can, look at kind of an auric field, or even go in and explore like internally within the body and see through my third eye certain things and fuzziness and illness, or so to speak, right? People may actually feel it, they may feel a psychic or an illness or something of that nature through their clairsentience. Yeah, that's all paranormal, every bit of that. So the magic, right? If you have a long dramatic pause there, because I'm just thinking like, wow. So in the work that I do, as well as everybody that participates and, belongs to Illuminate, we actually do work in the astral plane, right? So we kind of step into another dimension. I don't think you get much more paranormal than like other dimensions too, right? So that the spells, the whole work behind like intention and literally putting energy into something and setting an intention out. That's, paranormal. And gosh, I thought about just alchemy alone, right? This whole like turning metal, like something into another substance. Like, is alchemy not like a paranormal science, right? Because like alchemy has very specific things that, and ways and programming, and it's in its theory and its framework and how, whatever word you want to use to describe that. Alchemy is like a paranormal science. I don't even know how else to like, it's probably the closest you can get to magic science. I don't know how else to explain it. Right. And then, my goodness, I like, and literally this is all happening this morning as I'm guesting on somebody else's podcast. I'm getting like all this insight. And I'm like, wow, this is amazing. The healing, right? I'm a Reiki master. I literally have been given like attunements and connected to the collective healing consciousness of every other healer that has ever, hello, there's no scientific proof or reasoning. Like, I have to believe this, right? And so like all of these things were kind of just hitting me of like how crazy and incredible and just wild this was. It was like how almost like being a witch is literally being part of the paranormal, right? Because our you can't explain a witch. You can't scientifically explain a witch, right? I'd be really curious for anybody that's listening. I know we're live. We've got a couple of viewers. I can see the comments. If you have subscribed, you can comment. So just going to let you know in the future, if you want to watch these live, make sure on YouTube that you subscribe, and then you can actually comment and chat with me live while I'm here doing this. Because yeah, it was just this really interesting kind of phenomena just hit me, right? Phenomena. Can't really explain why it came through. Maybe because I needed to share it with you guys. Well, look at that. Love that little assistant saying, hey. But yeah, and so then I thought, like, every week I'm kind of trying to see how this works. I share some information with you. I share some of my perspective. And then I'm going to share with you why am I sharing this? And there's a couple of reasons that are coming through right now. And the number one is, like, for those of us that identify as the witch, as a witch, it can sometimes be a little bit lonely. Like, there are a lot of us that are learning to find our communities, find our people, find those that are of like mind, so that we really feel, supported and loved. That happens. But very often being a witch can feel like a very lonely thing. And so, especially when it comes to witching, that's so funny. Witchcraft is so personal, right? And so, like, so many people will try to, like, put themselves into boxes, and so it can make it hard as a witch to find your community. And so one of the reasons I wanted to share this today is you may also find your folks, your friends, your kindred spirits, your tribe in the paranormal community. Right? Some of the folks that you might really dig, enjoy, and get along with could be in the paranormal community. So take a look there. Find out, it's funny to me because I do watch, and my partner and I have started watching Ghost Adventures. I've already gone through Ghost Adventures. I think the majority of the seasons up to like maybe 17. And so, but I'm watching it again with my partner right now. And so I just think about how all of these folks that I'm watching, they're guests, the people that are showing up, guess what? They're tattooed. They're like, they are the people that I see in groups and that I typically connect with. So, I mean, I really, really, really want you to think that if you happen to be struggling, if you happen to be one of those witches that are out there that are maybe feeling a little bit more lonely, feeling like you're struggling a little bit, haven't been able to find your connection, the paranormal community may be a fabulous place. It may be something that allows a connection and an actual, like, a shared belief in the paranormal, but you don't have to agree to how you practice it, right? And I think that's why sometimes it's hard for witches to find other folks, is because so many folks will kind of like stumble into these, like, well, I only want to hang out with witches that practice the way that I practice, right? So if you find yourself in that situation, you find yourself in a community that may struggle in an instance like that, I strongly, strongly, strongly recommend reaching out to some folks in the paranormal community and seeing if you can find some friends that way, right? And, I also just want to share, as a witch, right, you are always, especially if this is ingrained in your day-to-day life, like if you are truly embracing, that the life of the witch, the role of the witch, the beliefs of the witch, the practices of the witch, then lean into the paranormal stuff. Really lean into it. I talked about the psychic abilities, the magic, and the healing. And a lot of times people think about witches and they think about the magic part. They think of the spells, they think of the rituals, they think of the moon cycles and stuff like that. But it is also our psychic abilities and our healing abilities, like our healing gifts, that matter too, right? And so I listed some of those out, right? Being able to see and recognize illness, using those psychic gifts to be able to help other people, right? Using those healing powers to be able to help other people. So I really encourage you to lean into these things, lean into being a paranormal powerhouse, embrace them, be proud of them, right? Because I don't know. I don't even know. I keep getting, and it's funny, I've been getting this desire to actually create, like draw and stuff more specifically for, the business, the podcasts and stuff. But I've got this picture I'll share that's popping in my head that maybe someone that's listening might want to sketch or draw in case I never get around to it. But I kind of see this witch in this kind of like on one hat, and like one side having like the look of the witch and the other kind of having this look of like this researcher, this, constant inquisitor. Because I believe when we talk about the witches and the paranormal investigators of the world, right? Everybody has the belief in the paranormal. That's the same between the two. The one believes that they actually are a part of it. That's the witch. And the other believes that they're only there to experience and document it. Right. So I get this kind of picture that shows up that's pretty fascinating. So yeah, I think we very well may. Look at me, tongue-tied. I find it interesting that I'm talking about the paranormal and the camera cannot stay focused. I don't know if anybody else has watched that. I know it does it every now and again, but I've never seen it have this much of a challenge. So yeah, I think we might talk about the paranormal for a couple of weeks because I think it's a good topic. It's a good time of the year, and spirits are ripe and around. So, well, if anybody, of course, if you are listening and you have any questions or anything of that nature, please feel free to reach out. If, I'm going to throw this out here. If you happen to know someone or are a paranormal investigator in and or around Michigan, please reach out to me. I would love to find some folks to go out there and do some investigations with, right? So that being said, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Much love and spooky paranormal experiences from me to all of you. Until next time, friends.